Welcome to the Crimson Engine. My name is 𝙁𝙗𝙇. Today we are talking how I financed my feature film and how you can finance yours. You can have an amazing script, you can have attracted a wonderful cast, you can have great locations and even have some award-winning short films, but unless you can raise the finance, unless you can get someone to put their hard-earned money on the line, maybe you shouldn't make the film to start with. Let me back up a little bit. Finance is definitely the biggest sticking point for independent filmmakers, developed filmmakers, even famous filmmakers. Martin Scorsese still spends 10 years trying to get films made because he needs to convince people like the studios or Netflix to put up hundreds of millions of dollars. He needs to convince them that there will be a return on their money. Everyone agrees that his films will be Martin Scorsese movies, that they'll be critically acclaimed, and that there is an audience out there for them. What people don't agree on is if the audience out there for the film is worth the amount of money it's going to cost him to make them. That's exactly the same with your films, with my films, with everybody's films. If a film was $100, almost anyone could get it made. But films aren't. Films are 100,000, 500,000, a million and more. That is enough money to buy a house in most places in the world, in most places in America. So instead of the investor putting money in something brick and mortar that they could charge rent on, that will appreciate in value over time, you're asking them to put money into an idea, into a person's promise, a talent that you'll be able to deliver on that promise and make money for them. Film finance is where the rubber meets the road. It's where you have to convince people to put their money on the line and believe in you in a real concrete way. You probably have, and I probably have, a lot of people that believe in me, that want to see me do well, that want to see me make films, but do those people have a large amount of money they can invest? And will they invest it in me or you? Now, there are a lot of laws that go into getting money from people for investments because it's not a gift, it's not a favor. You're essentially signing a contract that you will take these people's money, do something with it, and then give them back that money plus interest. I'm not going to comment on the legal specifics of raising money, and I advise you to find out where it is that you're operating, what the particular laws are and governing bodies are to raising money for film finance. If you are raising under $100,000 and can do it from one high net worth individual, that is by far the easiest route. Because once you introduce a number of investors, the situation becomes far more complicated because they not only need to trust you, they need to trust each other. They need to know each other and need to work together in this endeavor over years, which is a big ask for people who maybe have never met. So if you can get the whole amount of money from one person, negotiate with just that person, that is by far the easiest way to do it. Now, that person may be a family friend, person may be a business associate. If you have worked with that person, if they're a client, if you have made them money or at least shown them that you can make money from your films, you are going to be way ahead of the crowd. The biggest thing about film finance is trust, but not just trust as he's a good person or she's a good person, trust that you can deliver on your promises. If you're running a successful production business, you're already making money, one of your clients is interested in investing, they're far more likely to invest in you knowing that you're a business person that can deliver on their promises monetarily than someone that you've never dealt with before, someone you may have met at a social event. Previous business relationship puts you way ahead of the game. But you also have to take into account that very few films make their money back, and you risk losing that client in the long term if for some reason the film falls apart. It is very beneficial to start small, to raise $10,000, to pay people back that money to show them that you can monetize your ideas, and then go to a bigger and bigger project than it is to start at $100,000 or a $500,000 budget level. So if you don't know a high net worth investor and you're trying to raise a lot of money, the other way to go about it is to get a group of investors to say raise $10,000 from 10 people for your $100,000 budget. As I said, the barrier to this is that they all need to trust one another, or at least should know one another. Raising money from a whole bunch of strangers and telling them all that they'll all get their money eventually is much more difficult. So for that reason, the way that I've done it and the way that I've heard of other people do it is have some kind of network. Maybe there's a group of business people that all know each other and have invested together before in something like real estate, in something like a business. Maybe these people are part of a social group. Maybe these people all used to work for the same company or still work for the same company. They all know you, and they're all comfortable with that risk of putting their money in your hands, knowing that you have a added incentive to do the best job you can and pay back the money, because there is a lot of relationships at stake, not just your relationship with them, but your relationship with 9 other people, and that you will do everything you can to pay back the loan or risk burning all of those bridges. By having done your homework, having got an entertainment lawyer, which we'll talk about in another episode, and have a very clear statement of the terms that you're expecting them to borrow the money with and how you're expecting to pay it back, will go a long way in assuring a potential investor to become an actual investor. You really need to know what the industry standard is for investing, what the timeline is. You really need to have an example of your work. And if possible, you really need to show them proof of other projects you've made that have made money. That's all going to go to reassure an investor or group of investors that you can deliver on your promise. This is what I did. I have a group of people all investing a small amount of money together. I've known all of them for at least 10 years. I've worked with most of them. They all know me and know each other. I'm very confident that I can deliver on the promises that I've made, because I have made other promises to these people and delivered on those. A potential investor shouldn't ask you any question that you don't have an answer for. You should know the movie inside and out. You should already have some of the key elements in place. You should have absolute confidence about creating a great product and marketing a great product and selling a great product, and be able to get them the money back at a rate as good or better than they can get from other investments. It is much more likely that you will get money from people that you've known for a long time, people that you grew up with, people that you're related to, people that you work with. So always be expanding your social circle, always be expanding your sphere of influence and meeting more people, helping them out, offering your value first. You never know when someone that you did a favor for, someone whose project or charity you supported with your experience or with your money will turn around and help you find people. And lastly, be passionate. No one is going to invest in a film for purely financial reasons. You're really selling your passion, you're selling your dream, you're selling the experience of becoming a film investor, and people want to experience that passion and that excitement for themselves. That's a big part of what being a film investor is. That is my little look at film investing, how I raise the money, some of the factors that went into that, and how you can raise money for your films. Start small, find the right people, live the right type of life, connect with as many people as you can, and sooner or later, you may find yourself raising money for a feature film too. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.